Hi guys. Thank you, Dory, for that great introduction. Um, in case y'all didn't know, we're doing a new keto collab. There's 5 of us, and total weight loss between the 5 of us is over 650 pounds. Can you imagine? 650 pounds, over, more than that, lost total, and counting. So probably by the time this video has been published, it will be well over 650 pounds. I mean, how awesome is that? But if y'all come from Dory, she's a great YouTuber. I mean, she is just awesome. I love her stuff. But she posed a question to me, which I will then pass on to someone else. Question is, what was life like before I started keto? And what is life like now? So, life like before I started keto. To start off with, in case y'all don't know, I started off at 508 pounds. That was my highest weight ever. Y'all seen those shows, My 600 Pound Life? I wasn't quite that bad, but I was getting that bad. But I will say that there had started to be this feeling of impending doom. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, gasping for breath, because I couldn't breathe. There were times that my heart was pounding so hard, and I couldn't get it to calm down. And I thought I was going to die. I really thought, that I wouldn't wake up one morning. And then I worried, because at the time I didn't live with my mom. This was before my dad died. And I thought one of them would find me, because I hadn't answered the phone, or I hadn't come over, and I didn't want them to have to face that. I was still working, but just barely. I knew that I had to keep on that job as long as I could, because no one else would hire me. I could barely get behind my van to drive, and it was our biggest vehicle. Seat pushed back as far as it would go. I would even have to tilt the steering wheel up, and I was still having to squeeze in, just to get in and drive. Seat belts no longer fit me. It had been years since I'd worn a seatbelt, because I couldn't get them in, and I didn't have extensions. I should have got extensions, but I didn't. Excuse me. I lived by myself. I didn't date. The last time I'd been on a date was several years ago, and I was so uncomfortable. And then again, I wasn't into that guy either, so that was really no loss. But going to movies. Sorry, video just cut off. Going to the movies, I could fit in the seats, but I would always make sure there was an empty seat between me and the next person, because, I took up the whole seat, and like I said, even though I could fit into it, it was tight. I would lift the arm so I could have, you know, extra room. And then I would always put my purse there. Going up the steps to get to wherever wanted to see it sit was hard on my knees. I would have to hold on to the rail and just do one step at a time, because one of my knees was wearing out because I had broke the other knee. I had actually broke my left knee, and so I had relied on my right knee for so long, and it was wearing out. And then after my left knee healed up, it still was not right. So my knees were shot, still shot, but at least I can move around a little bit better now. Going shopping, I would only shop when I got for work, which was 11 o'clock at night, or later. Sometimes I'd work later. But I'd go, if I had to go to Walmart. Walmart was the only grocery store open at that time of night. I went late at night because there were not very many people, which meant that there was always a buggy available, which meant that there was a close parking space up front available. Buggy, electric cart was available. So, you know, because I was at the point that I was lucky to be able to walk to the lobby, you know, to the front. And if there wasn't a cart available, I would have to sit at the bench and wait, because that was as far as I could go. And there were times that, you know, if I had to go to the bank, which the bank in was in our Walmart, was, you know, here's the doors, you go in, and the bank was right there. So, you know, it was just maybe 10 more steps to the bank. And I would literally have to sit there and rest in the, you know, the front doors, catch my breath before walking into the bank. And then, if there was a long line, you know, I'm standing there, and I would have to lean against something or pull out one of those chairs to sit while I'm waiting for a teller to be available. It was getting bad, really bad. So I would shop late at night or early in the morning, and you know, it was getting bad. It was really bad. When you're that size, hygiene is not always the easiest thing to do. There was times that I just didn't leave because I didn't want to go through, didn't leave the house because I didn't want to have to go through what it would take to go and take a shower, and so I would just stay home, you know. Didn't always go to family functions because I didn't want to be there because there was a lot of people there. And as big as I am, there's not many places I can sit. You know, when you're 500 pounds, not all chairs are sturdy enough. And so there was only a couple of chairs that I would sit at, you know, if I went to my brother's house. I didn't go outside to sit with them on the porch because all their chairs on the porch were old and not exactly sturdy, and I didn't want to sit in something and have it collapse on me. And that was always my worry. Going out to eat, I knew in our town every restaurant and what kind of seating they had, because I knew that if all they had were booths, then I couldn't sit in them because I couldn't either get in. And before I even got to that size, getting out of a booth was hard because my knees didn't want to hold me up. So it wasn't a matter of, you know, going to eat somewhere depending on what they served. It was going to eat somewhere depending on what type of chairs they had. Um, you know, going to restaurant, I would, if we were in a group, you know, I would have to tell them ahead of time, I can't sit in a booth. Because other people don't normally think of that, you know, oh, she's too big to sit in a booth, we need to sit at a table. They don't normally think that way. So I would have to say, you know, can we get a table? Or I would have to speak up, we need a table. Just, there was times, and this was even after keto, I was still large. There was one restaurant we went to, and they, in their main area, all they had was booths. They had, you know, a table in the back, and then they had another room that they partitioned off sometimes that had tables. And we went in there one time, and they were redoing some stuff, and so that back room was closed off because they had all their equipment back there, and the one table that they had left was full of stuff, and there was nowhere to sit, so we had to leave because I could not sit in a booth. You know, people stopped asking me to go with them anywhere because I couldn't do anything. I went to visit my friend in San Antonio. I hadn't seen her in years, and took a train. Vaji. I love trains. I will take a train over a Greyhound any day of the week. By train, it was awesome. Got to her place. She picked me up. Got to her apartment, and my heart sunk. She lived on the second floor, and I had to go up those steps, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack before I got up there. Got there, and she's an active person, and God love her, she's always going somewhere, and I didn't always go out with her, you know. I wanted to go to the boardwalk. I really did, you know. It's been years since I went to the boardwalk. But she was explaining to me the parking situation, that it's not like you could just park somewhere and then walk to the boardwalk. I mean, you could, but not I could, because it'd be like, you know, parking at Disneyland to get to the boardwalk. And so we didn't go there because I couldn't walk, you know. Go grocery shopping, and a lot of times I sit in the car because I couldn't walk. This was my life before I started keto. What is my life like now? Now, I can walk into Walmart. I can actually walk to the back of the store